our game is ready to go. We are going to jump back into the action for our final Swiss round.
Here we go. We'll have a look at what we have for the final rounds of Swiss. These players playing on the cusp of making it into our top 64 and top 8 contention, I believe.
Yep, both
on
still
our
in top 8
feature
contention.
stage. We're going to start off with NoVeggies, who is playing Sivir Battle Mistress, one of my favorites to win the whole thing. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. 3 Nocturnes in the main, alongside the Edges of Night. One Edge of Night, one Switcheroo.
I must correct myself. I thought it was the other match that we were showing.
Yep.
This is a top 64 contention match.
That it is.
Indeed, and this is one of the top Sivers of the day right now, kind of on par with another. So we've got 2 Sivers still in contention for that best of as well, but top 64 is still incredibly desirable at this stage, getting you that invitational to the regionals. Yes,
Kubakulp is playing for that top 64. Can't get best of because Alan ZQ is playing Ezreal and has gone, I think, 11-0, maybe 12. Well, playing around right now to look for that 12-0. In the main here for our Ezreal, only 2 Arcane Shifts. We do often see one being left behind. It's the Pack of Wonders Treasure Trove Mind Splitter combination, though, that we did see at Runes and Rift, and they're invitational. So I really like this combo. You can bounce the Mind Splitter back with the Pack of Wonders, then play it again. Ciao, ciao to your hand, I believe is what they say in Italy when the Mind Splitter comes down. No Mauser Heart to align with it, but it really does give you a lot of control as the game goes on. Kind of this this base lock setup that you can have. It takes you a while to get there though, so you want to be able to control the early board, plan a couple of moves ahead, plan a couple of turns ahead at least, to make sure that the Sivir doesn't overwhelm, which it doesn't tend to do anyway.
Okay, here we go. We're starting off the turn. NoVeggies is going first with Sivir. Let's see if they can play any units nice and early. Looks like we're going in strong with that. A nice 2-drop, or maybe just a seal? No, we do have the Traveling Merchant. Always a fortuitous start.
Yeah, always nice to be able to get that discard draw early on. You've also got the Zorn Warrants to help with that. Pack of Wonders going to come down from Kubakulp. If you don't know what this does, you can tap it to bounce a gear or a unit back to your, or a hidden card, sorry, to your owner's hand. Often we see it in combination with the Treasure Trove, which works really well because you're getting those extra card draws. Can also be used to bounce the Mind Splitter, then replay the Mind Splitter to remove plenty of cards from your opponent's hands.
Ooh, okie dokie. Looks like we're going for the Warren, kind of avoiding Sigil of the Storm at the moment, as it can be disadvantageous. One of those battlefields I was talking about earlier where it might not affect you as much as your opponent, and so it's kind of nice to put that threat on the board. This is not a very nice place to go.
Yeah, not at all. You don't really want to be in there recycling your runes. Gust back to get the Traveling Merchant out of the board. Pack of not Pack of Wonders, Discord going to come down. The Sivir, they're able to generate a gold when we do recycle that rune, and those golds so valuable to Sivir later on in the game, especially Sivir Mercenary, where if you are spending that 2 power, you get a bunch of bonuses out of her.
Absolutely, and that's the nice thing about it. At least we're gaining something for having to recycle runes, which is great. And again, fortuitous for yourself, but not for your opponent. So a very nice start there. But not a lot going on in this hand right now. We can stack deck, and hopefully that will provide more options for Kubakulp here, but...
Rebuke.
Okay.
Another Thousand Tail Watcher. And was it Superfire as the final card? I think so, but I can't be,
But yeah, it wasn't
it was. It's Stupefy at the back of the hand there. So
there we are. Yes.
The thing is here, you do always have the Ezreal to play. Put the seal down. You can play the Ezreal for that, discard, and then get that next couple of draws. You have the Pack of Wonders as well to bounce the Ezreal if you so desired. Will, of course, cost you the power coming back down, but getting those extra couple of draws is really powerful. Here, looks like we're going to discard the Mind Splitter. So we have more in the deck to go and search for.
Nothing at the moment, just taking it slow. Ezreal's at least in base, so we've got a little bit of kind of a starting go there. Just managing to get off and just kick things off really, but both going quite slow for where their decks kind of usually sit in these first 2 turns.
And both these decks can play from a relatively slow position if they want. They kind of want to control the board in the early game if they can, and then look to create these sort of unassailable board states later on. With the Sivir Mercenary out, we are going to see NoVeggies, which I think I called NoVeggies first time, and now I realize it's just NoVeggies, which is I think a mantra that a lot of us have when we come to events like this. I've been eating predominantly arancino, or arancini, I guess, because I'm eating more than one of them across the course of the event. Ezreal down for NoVeggies, who is now going to use that gold, get the discard and the draw out of this. It's looking like it might be, I was wondering if it would be the Ezreal going out of the hand, but instead going to be that fight or flight discarded to a draw. I think that's a challenge. Both decks really want to control their opponent's hands to a degree as well. You can see the Sabotage sitting there for NoVeggies. Challenge discarded.
Recycle and okay, yep.
You have the Zorn Warrens trigger from the Conqueror as well, right? So.
And that deals with the Ezreal nicely. So again, you're kind of just putting Kubakulp.
Oh, the challenge wasn't discarded, it was played. Just went straight into the trash. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Okay,
so yeah, challenge played.
It's been played, and of course that takes out the Ezreal, and then that threat is kind of off the board, and Kubakulp can now kind of, it really does have the pressure on, and with not many units going on in hand, it's kind of why we had to go for the Ezreal earlier. So really we're going to be looking at just trying to draw some cards. So we're going for the Stupefy on the Sivir just to draw a card and hope that we can get some momentum going. Yeah,
this is now, you're going to be looking at the Treasure Trove into bounce. Wages of Pain after the Stupefy to kill off the Sivir. Then you can play the Treasure Trove, get that card draw, use the Ezreal for another card draw because you target it and you've chosen 2 units with spells.
Seal into a seal makes it free.
Seal into seal makes it free. Treasure Trove down, Pack of Wonders, bounces the Treasure Trove back.
Oh my goodness.
Get the rune, get the card draw, and then go to NoVeggies' turn. Only has that Ezreal up, as you can see, relatively slow in terms of point scoring early game for both of these decks.
But unfortunately, with no units left, Kubakulp is gonna have to really ramp things up late game to be able to bring anything to the table, because NoVeggies at this point can finally just start to put things in, grab those points, and just really push forward. We're going with the Sabotage, noticing that Kubakulp is really struggling to kind of get into this game at all. Using the Sabotage at that point to say, right, okay, it's clear that you're really struggling for units, so I know that I'm going to be able to take something, pop it at the bottom of your deck here, and I don't want you to have. Yeah,
get rid of the Cold Shot, take your time, write down all of the cards, make sure you know exactly what's there. I think between the Cold Shot and the Treasure Trove, those were your 2 options. Cold Shot a little bit cheaper, of course, and having the double seal means you can pay for both the repeat costs without actually having to recycle any of your power. So you get rid of that. Treasure Trove likely to come back on the next turn for Kubakulp. Ezreal going in to Zorn Warrens will have the discard draw trigger alongside the point. It's a Cold Shot drawn, seal for that. And this is 4 cards that we're going to be looking at 2 a time and drawing one of these. Cold Shot into hand.
Yep. Love a Cold Shot into a Cold Shot. More card draw, yes please.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Nocturne.
When we see the Nocturne, we can play it just for spending 1 instead when we see it from an effect that isn't just it being in your hand. So this was a perfect Nocturne play.
Yeah, when you're looking at the top cards of your deck, if you do see it, you can play it for that power, which is exactly what happens. Nocturne comes out, isn't going to bolster up the defenses with that Ezreal in the battlefield. That one is just going to sit there by itself. You want to get that extra power for later on. Another Ezreal coming down into the discard draw. It's a challenge being discarded, double draw, but look at how big the hand for NoVeggies is now.
Last rites, we've got a punch. We've got a lot of combat tricks going on now. So not only does Kuba need to really get some units on the board, but they're also going to struggle potentially into actually then taking over these battlefields and strong-holding them, which is what Ezreal likes to do, is kind of make that like board lock position. Oh my gosh, we've got more seals on the go. Triple seal, but
you need to get the wax out and like one of those signets, the ring to really stamp it down. Pack of Wonders.
Treasure Trove.
Yeah, it's going to bounce that Treasure Trove back.
We want to draw the card.
And channel that rune.
Hopefully we've got something off of that, but it doesn't.
I think it's a Bellows Breath and a, well, the Treasure Trove was already in hand. Yeah. We've got the Gust, acceptable losses as well. Not really going to do too much for us in this game state.
Again, we're just struggling for a unit. We need guys on the board. We need to be able to score points. We can't score points without units.
Treasure Trove back down. We have 2 for another pack that can immediately bounce our Treasure Trove back up. And there we are, another draw, another channel.
Please, with the draw card, it's got to be. Oh,
Thousand Tail Watcher.
Watcher.
Okay, so the good thing for Kubakulp on the right side of the screen here is they're not too far behind in terms of NoVeggies is at 2.
Yes.
Right, in terms of board state, obviously, double Ezreal Nocturne, really strong position for NoVeggies, and they will start to continue to scale up through the game. And acceptable losses coming out. It's going to kill off the gold apiece. Kubakulp actually trying to deny as many Mind Runes as possible from NoVeggies. Currently sitting on none. Likely going to channel 1. I can't remember the exact rune split, I'll be honest. If it's 6 and 6, the high likelihood is that, sorry, not Mind Runes,
Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos runes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they have the Chaos runes. It's the body runes I was talking about.
Runes,
so,
yes.
But with the gold would have had 2 here, still only has 1, which means punch first, actually not an option
not
right now.
But do we need it right now? We're in a really solid position, so I think at the moment you kind of don't mind not having the access to the punch first. We'll go for another Seal of Discord there, just to keep everything in check, make sure that we have enough for the late game as well. Going for a cold shot. I think that's, again, really advantageous at this point. We've got that happened a minute ago. Is this a repeat? That was like the same cold shot from earlier.
Well, this is the repeat, actually, as we see the Rasa in the stack deck on the top. Rasa going to the bottom there. Something you really want to do when you're playing these Sivir decks is have either a very good memory or enough intuition to remember what you put at the bottom of your deck. Some people write it out, you can do it untimed. Obviously, when you're not untimed, it becomes a lot harder to do so. Nocturne going into the Sigil of the Storm, we will see the recycle coming out. Sivir will generate us a gold off that recycled rune, and another point for NoVeggies, halfway to that 8-point mark.
Rocketing into a very commanding position, another stacked deck, just not letting up. You know, you got to keep the heat on. I like the switcheroo at this point. Being able to even implement that now as a hidden card would be great. So honestly, we're in a really strong position here. Kubakulp does have a lot of runes on board, which would be fantastic, but I don't know if it's going to be too little too late. We're going for the last rites, again, a really great recursion card for us, as well as giving some might to our units. We absolutely love it. No need to equip it yet, though. Yeah. That can come in time.
Holding 2 up for the fight or flight if you want to use it in this sort of position. Can also look towards that switcheroo. And switcheroo great into things like Thousand Tail Watcher. It gives you so much power in terms of, well, so much might in terms of switching it around with the Thousand Tail Watcher coming in.
But here we go. We're probably going to see that Thousand Tail Watcher.
But
first,
breath to kick us off. Aiming for both those Nocturne. No, they have to be at the same location. So repeated, I guess. 1 damage to each. And then Thousand Tail Watcher to reduce all of those down below the threshold.
See if we can do a bit of a board wipe, really. See if that's going to go down, if we can get the Thousand Tail Watcher to just then take those Ezreal out of the base and the Nocturne from the battlefield. We really start to see how Kubakulp can actually finally start to bring this back into their favor, but they're still going to need a little bit more in regards to units. Just 1 Thousand Tail Watcher might not be enough.
2 treasure troves in hand, though, does mean they have quite a lot of draw pressure. Going to go with the stack deck first. Have a look at the top. Double
it's very
fizz.
Fizzy.
Yeah, well, the cold shot is what we are going to choose for now. Those fizzes will go down towards the ball. I wouldn't mind the fizz. I would not mind the fizz. What are we doing? What are we doing?
He's keeping on us on our toes.
Yeah. So I think Kubakulp there, when you are deciding on the card you want to take, it is better to lay it to the side of your hand, just to make sure it's very obviously separate. NoVeggies was like, hey, is that okay? It's like, yes, we know it was the one that he put on the top. So just for ease of your opponent's knowledge sake, just put it to the side, make sure you know exactly where it is. Treasure Trove is going to come out. I believe there's a second pack of wonders that is not being used to activate it, but doesn't really matter for the moment because you are going to channel 2 runes anyway on the next turn, so having an extra rune channeled here would actually mean that you are wasting one of those channels at the start of your next turn.
Ever so true.
Nocturne was the draw. Confront is going to allow us to have our units enter ready and give us that draw for NoVeggies. Picks up a stack deck, currently pretty low on those units, needs something to equip the last rites onto.
Oh, speaking of units, that's 2, and we did see the Nocturne,
Yep.
so we can play that just for 1 cost instead, which is very lovely. So that has definitely helped us out a little bit in replenishing the board after Kubakulp managed to absolutely tremendously use that Thousand Tail Watcher with Bellows Breath combination. So this time we're going to be able to get those units back on the board a little bit faster, hopefully. Going for the second called shot, I believe, there before we do any other actions.
Yeah, using the repeat, we're going to put Sabotage into hand. I think there was a small question about technically the card drawn from the first part of the called shot was put into hand before the Nocturne was revealed, and you should reveal it before you draw. But the judge, they're like, it's okay, we know exactly what was going on. It is fine overall. Sabotage going to come out, second one of the game here. Gust, Singularity, Treasure Trove, and a Fizz. Can't hit the Fizz, we'll take the Singularity. No surprises at all. Puts it onto the bottom of the deck with that Recycle. It's the difference between Mind Splitter and Sabotage. Firstly, Sabotage can't hit can only hit non-units, and then also Sabotage recycles rather than discarding the card.
And again, just gaining that hand knowledge, right? Knowing what can come your way allows you to more effectively choose which resources you're going to expel and when. And knowing that we do have another unit now, which is why we kind of went for that Fizz, because it was getting really tricky to keep a board state alive here, because NoVeggies was really doing quite well at managing their own units in the beginning. Of course, we're going for the attach there of the last rites, and now just having a look at what's going to go back to the bottom of the deck.
Putting the Nocturne and the stack deck back on the bottom. Expect this when it conquers to get an Ezreal back for us. I don't think I saw a Rasa in the graveyard, although in the trash. There's definitely one in hand. I have the discard draw from the Zorn Warrens. Now we'll have a look. Traveling Merchant.
Lovely. Okay, so just opting for more card draw, more movement.
It's interesting to me because Traveling Merchant obviously does give you that card draw movement, and I guess you want to keep the 2 up for the switcheroo or the fight or flight.
Yeah.
So Ezreal would have pushed you over that boundary to only having 1 rune available on your opponent's turn. And
but I guess we kind of like the discard draw as well, because it gets us closer to the Raza.
That's true. That's true. We're going to discard that switcheroo, so we really are playing around the fight or flight, spending the power. And now we will move on to Kubakulp's turn. Still only the Thousand Tail Watcher available to them.
We've got a Fizz in hand, as we saw taken earlier, and that will allow us to kind of recycle a spell as well.
And we got a Gust, a Fizz, a Bellows Breath, and a Treasure Trove.
Treasure Trove. So we do have a bit of card draw as well.
Yeah, the thing with the Treasure Trove is we don't really want to bounce it without being able to channel that rune. We are just doing this for the card draw to make sure we have as much information as possible at the start of the turn. Can move into the Traveling Merchant, but we're going to get Foft back. We know that.
We know
Kubakulp can expect that, let's be honest.
Yes.
With the discard of a switcheroo, only a 1-of in NoVeggies main. So
and NoVeggies has used a lot of cards that show him cards.
Yeah.
So he's been able to use a lot that actually allows him to cherry pick exactly what he wants off the top of the deck, keep that in hand for later. And I think, that's what's going to be seen here. Obviously giving them a count as well, so they know how fearful they need to be of a Raza.
Yeah, also do have to be fearful of a punch first. The fist bump comes out, Kubakulp realizing I cannot stop the advance from 6 to 8. And because of that, we will see NoVeggies taking game 1 of this round.
NoVeggies just keeping that board state seamless and coming back from every pushback. And then it's a little bit of hand control on top of that. The threat of the Raza was just too much. And knowing that it's probably unlikely to come back from that, it's sideboarding time into the second game.
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge... I mean, maybe there's a couple of changes you want to make. Don't think Cannon Barrage does too much. Hard bargaining I could see you wanting to bring in when you're playing around on these counter wars. Invert tie lines kind of gives your opponent as much benefit as it gives you, but if your opponent has carefully crafted their hand, then there is the argument. It's like, okay, I know my hand is bad, and I kind of know your hand is likely good at this position to chuck in and invert timelines there. But NoVeggies deck did what it expects to do. Gets those Nocturnes out, didn't even need to use the Rasas.
No.
Was able to put themselves in a really good position there in game 1.
Yeah, they kept it all really sleek. I mean, hitting those nocturnes was absolutely beautiful. That's what we want to see. We want to see them off the top of the deck when you're using a card effect rather than drawing them so that you can play them really cheap. Okay, we've got some interesting decisions here to make. I like the Dr. Mundo. We haven't seen one of those all day. You know, a big chunky unit can be helpful when you're struggling. I think that was our biggest problem. It was just not having enough units. We had spells galore. We were doing well for kind of just keeping our opponent's board state under control for a while, but then we just weren't able to create that lock that Ezreal really loves to do, where you kind of just push your opponent out from being able to do much. And unfortunately, with the lack of singularity because of the sabotage, we just weren't able to keep that pushback going. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing perhaps the, not the pickpocket. Yeah, no, the pickpocket out in this Ezreal lineup. Getting rid of the gold for NoVeggies actually helps slow them down quite a lot. They do generate it quite a bit, but the ability to remove an effective power from the Sivir and get yourself an effective power with that pickpocket can be pretty strong. We'll see if Kubakulp decides to go down that route. For the moment, we'll get into game 2. Huge game for both these players.
Okay, we've got Obelisk of Power and Varmor's Lair this time.
And it is Kubakulp who go first, so 3 runes for them. Can just play the Ezreal out if they so desire. Has I want to say a Wages of Pain in hand is there as well, but it does look like it is just going to be Ezreal. Play with the known information, put out the one you have, discard the Wages of Pain, draw 2, and then pass over to NoVeggies, who points at the Obelisk of Power, says, okay, I will take my extra rune as well,
I will have that, please. That'll be quite lovely at the start of the game, and they've got a lot of cards that, you know, will be able to be employed with this as a really big advantage for NoVeggies as well. We're getting the seal down, which is great. We get to create a gold token early. We get, yep, again, going with the known information on the board by just playing that Sivir out. Really similar turns, but actually NoVeggies has a lot more resources going on now than before, and that's just a really nice kick off the mark for them to try and overwhelm the board state like they did last game.
Also, 4 might into 3 is always a nice number to look at as the Sivir into the Ezreal. There is a Stupefy in hand, Singularity off the top.
I like this.
Not going to be drawn. Instead, the seal, trying to make sure that they have good rune economy through this early game for Kubakulp. Does mean there's a Singularity all the way at that bottom of the main deck.
That was the only thing that made me sad a little bit, because it would have been useful last game, but I suppose knowing that sabotage can happen as well, going for the seal and just making sure that you're creating consistency for yourself is also important.
Yeah, court shot out. I have another look at the top 2. Pretty snap keep there for Kubakulp on the first set.
It must have been a good one.
I think this might be a treasure trove going to hand. Okay, we'll put them to the side. Have a look through our hands, see exactly what we do have at the moment.
And make that decision, and it's a tricky one by the looks of it. It's an important decision to make. We need a lot of things going on. We don't want to repeat the last game. We're going for the treasure trove. We love that. Get that card draw on board.
Acceptable losses. And we're going to see that gear go to it. And then also the treasure trove does the same. There's the channel and the draw. And Kubakulp then will pass the turn back over to NoVeggies.
I love that little combination. Yeah. It's such a little sly one. You're like, oh, actually, I get rid of your gold, which is really great because you need that. And actually, then I get a card draw and channel. It's lovely.
I think it's one of those, people will often, I mean, with Treasure Trove, obviously it's relatively obvious that you do want it to die, but people will often overlook how important rune economy is.
Oh yeah.
And especially in a game like Riftbound where you can't play multiple runes on you don't have abilities to put extra stuff on that easily, right? Yeah, you usually channel exhausted. Making sure that you have the right runes on the right turn is so important, and trying to keep your opponents off the right runes at the right times is great as well. Challenge coming out here is going to kill off the Ezreal with the Sivir, and Kubakulp did have a Stupefy in hand, but no runes to be able to play it.
And that's what we were talking about just then, rune economy as well, and just having some standing. NoVeggies knew that there was no threat. They were like, well, this is safe. I can safely play this and it not be contested. And now I can start to rebuild that hand again and once again cherry pick exactly what I want.
We talked about the invert timelines. Like, often you see you don't really want to get rid of your hand because you've kind of curated your hand a little bit. But when you're in a sticky situation, or if you haven't got the draw that you were looking for, making sure your opponent doesn't get to keep the hand that they have so carefully cultivated can do a world of good. Sivir going to be hit get another gold token for NoVeggies. We'll have a look at the top two with this cold shot.
The Ezreal's tempting.
I think the Ezreal is the play. Better than the confront overall.
No,
instead,
for the
confront for the card draw. On the hunt, and Nocturne will need to be revealed.
Can we afford it? We could. Yeah, we've got more runes. Yes. Okay.
But, I mean, we are down to only 2 and 2 gold on next turn alongside that seal for a power cost.
The gold does help out a lot, but we still need the runes to do the initial cast. Sabotage time. Knowing that we're low ourselves, try and restrict our opponent and also kind of grasp what they've got going on.
Right, so
gosh, what do you take here?
There's 2 Stupefies, a Treasure Trove, a Bellows Breath of Fizz, and 1 mystery card.
Oh, it's the
That's
mystery
the one
card.
that was picked. And it gets recycled, so we don't know what it was.
If you guys had a keen eye and know what it was, pop it in chat and make us feel foolish.
I mean, it's happened many times this weekend that I felt foolish, Amy. It's not a one-off.
Oh, don't you worry. Same here. The players are just setting up that next little turn, going on in again, fresh with this board now. Ready to stupefy, to draw cards.
Draw 1.
We've got to try and rebuild this board once again.
Stupefy, draw 1 again for the Ezreal trigger, perhaps?
Yeah, should be, I would have thought.
We did draw an Arcane Shift. We have the Fizz as well. Put it down this turn. Shift next. 3 damage with the Stupefy would be enough to kill off that Sivir. There's also a Nocturne that we need to be wary of. So it looks like it is going to be Fizz. We'll bring back the Wages of Pain that we discarded to the Ezreal on the first turn of the game. That kills Sivir, gets us a gold, and that mitigates the fact that, like, the idea of shifting the Fizz to get that damage.
Yeah, and we get a gold token as well, which is really advantageous for next turn. Just keeping that going, keeping that economy on board. Get the card draw from the Ezreal.
And we get, as you say, the Ezreal Legend ability. Treasure Trove back down. Can't remember, there wasn't a Pack of Wonders in hand, was there?
I don't think so, no. Not that I saw anyway, but I very well could be wrong.
Hey.
And we're on to NoVeggies' turn in a really good position now for Kubakulp, with a really strong board state, lots of runes and a great hand going on. And NoVeggies kind of knows at least some of that information from having spied their hand last turn.
It's another Nocturne coming off the cold shot. First stage of the repeat.
Nocturne! I never see them when I do this.
But also, you know, NoVeggies has looked about 15 cards deep into their main deck so far. So
and we can keep going. There's still stacked decks there, but we're just going to go in with this Nocturne, take a point there.
Into the Vile Moors. I think, like, you now have good threat for Kubakulp to kill off that Nocturne anyway. You've got Bellows Breath, you have the Stupefy, you have the ability just to take enough damage onto that Nocturne. Ezreal and Last Rites.
Or Ezreal? I think Last Rites.
The Unyielding Spirit is going to go into hand to try and deal with Singularity.
Makes sense.
It also works obviously on things like Wages of Pain, but
it just really hurts when all 3 cards are excellent. And you're like, oh, I really would like all of these, but I've got to pick one, and you've got to think about what your opponent can do, what the biggest threat to you is, and if it's going to be Singularity, then that kind of makes a lot of sense, especially with the amount of runes right now that we have in play on the other side of the board. You do have to think that that threat is there. Moving on with Fizz into Obelisk of Power to go ahead and grab that first point there, and we're finally on the board.
Yeah, Arcane Shift. Targeting the Nocturne. We have the Stupefy to back it up. But it looks like NoVeggies is just going to deny the ability damage.
Yep, by spending the extra, using some gold, and saying, no, actually, please don't.
We'll still get the Fizz trigger, even though you don't get the 3 damage to the Nocturne at the battlefield. Fizz can allow us to play that spell for free. What are we looking for, Kubakulp?
Maybe it's...
Is it a cold shot or a stack deck?
I
think are the
maybe
options.
A stack deck would be a good idea.
Stack makes sense to me too.
Just to, again, see more cards, we need to keep filtering through. That's what Ezreal's good at.
Instead, a Stupefy to kick us off. Recycles the Stupefy as well. We have another in hand. There's the card draw. Ezreal for the choose. Okay, that makes sense if you want more draw out of the sequence.
Ooh, okay, we got Thousand Tail Watcher. We don't have enough runes to play it yet, but that is good for the future.
Repeated. Bellows Breath isn't enough.
No.
Instead, we talked about the Pickpocket. Takes out the seal. A nice addition from the board for Kubakulp.
Yeah,
gets you a gold token. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like it into these gold-generating decks because you can kill off the seals, sure, and if it's just a seal deck, then you're okay. But also, if you're just getting rid of some of those golds, again, you see no body runes on the side of NoVeggies. Pack of Wonders down, bounces the treasure trove, gives us a rune, more card draw. Kubakulp here investing more in allowing the Nocturnes to survive to a degree, just to get as many cards into hand as possible. The problem is, they do not know that NoVeggies has an invert. That's my German coming out there. Invert timelines
in hand. And we didn't see it game one, so we don't know that necessarily the threat exists. We ganked over to take over another battlefield there with our Nocturne, producing another gold token. Up to 4 points, NoVeggies is kind of starting to make that very apparent that they're now going down that pipeline to the win.
There we go.
Here comes the invert timelines.
Timelines have been inverted. Kubakulp just spent a long time building up this hand, and it is all for naught. The Pack of Wonders gone, the treasure trove gone as well. We're going to draw 4, and we will see where we are. A seal, a challenge, a cold shot on the side of NoVeggies. Didn't quite see the 4th. Kubakulp, what you got?
Let's have a look, because we're passing over to his turn. Now, we have a lot of runes, we have gold, we have a seal. So depending on what came about in that hand, we might have something absolutely off the chain, or it could all be falling apart.
Well, a Pack of Wonders off the top.
Okay, we got stacked
another pickpocket, another fizz as well, which is nice in this sort of situation. A seal for a seal, a very commonly seen play. Now we'll go and look at the top 3.
Again, we need as much information as we can before we commit too many runes to anything.
Yeah, this is kind of the point for Kubakulp where he really needs to get in control of the game.
Singularity.
And double Wages of Pain, they'll go to the bottom. Singularity will be able to deal with both of these Nocturnes. We have the runes for it as well. No real response for NoVeggies to that.
So it looks like it's just going to be the Singularity coming through. Yep, that's a hard cost to pay. So there goes the 2 Nocturnes, and that hidden card has to go as well. So the Fight or Flight goes away. Very unhelpful in this situation, sadly, but understandable why it was played. And then Fizz can just head on in there. Again, just waltz into a battlefield, into Valmor's Lair, because there's no threat coming back immediately.
Yeah, we start to march up the board. Up to 3 here for Kubakulp with the pickpocket and the Fizz going in. Valmor's Lair, obviously a little bit difficult to play around, but when you have a Pack of Wonders, it becomes a lot easier. Bounce the Fizz to hand, replay the Fizz, and use, instead just play the Pack of Wonders. I did think perhaps we would see the Fizz being played, but I guess you want to be able to utilize your trash effectively. We're going to bounce the pickpocket too. Well. Often, I mean, this kind of, what are we going to call it? It's a bounce deck, I guess. Boomerang deck, yeah. I mean, Boomerang is much more in keeping for Sivir.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's kind of what Ezreal's doing right now. The only concern I have is now getting units into play that are going to be ready to kind of make effective movements next turn for Kubakulp. But I appreciate that, similarly, NoVeggies hasn't got anything going on either at the moment, but can potentially bring some scary units into play, like the Nocturne off the top deck again!
Oh, those Nocturnes have done so much work for NoVeggies. It is his 3rd coming out. Looking at a Fizz and a Sabotage, and it's just going to take the Fizz from that second part of the called shot.
Those called shots have been calling the shots all day. They've been absolutely bringing the fire when it comes to these top decks. Those Nocturnes might as well just be on the top each time, I swear.
It's very true. It's very true. The problem for NoVeggies is double Wages of Pain is enough to kill off a Nocturne.
So true.
It doesn't have Deflect, and Kubakulp is in a riches of energy right now. Basically got all of his runes out on that battlefield. In fact, does have all 12. 6 cards in hand. We've seen they do have those double wages. Also the Mind Splitter, double Fizz. Oh, they put the wages on the bottom, didn't they?
Yes.
Did they? Yeah, they don't have those double wages.
But
they have
the Mind Splitter. The Mind Splitter in this instance.
I like the Mind Splitter, sorry. And that is where we're going to go. Splits the mind of NoVeggies. We'll have a look. Fizz, challenge, hard bargain, and a Fizz.
Get to remove anything from that hand.
Yeah, it's just what do we want to take?
Get
rid of the hard bargain for the counter war.
Yep. I think that's wise. You know, the challenge isn't doing loads because your units aren't big enough to challenge the Mind Splitter itself, and then the Fizz are quite little. They can get spells back, but
can't get a hard bargain back.
No,
well, you can, but it doesn't do anything.
No, exactly.
You know?
So I think that was the wisest choice.
Yeah. Pickpocket going to kill off that Seal of Discord, make a gold for Kubakulp. Still the Nocturne and the Traveling Merchant available for NoVeggies. Needs to get up to 6 if they can.
This turn would be a great turn to do so, and looks like, I mean, they're uncontested on battlefield, so they could. It's then just about having the backup for next turn to be able to continue, because you need to, you're getting onto that 6 is all well and good, but we need the 8 to win, so we need then the backup. We are going up to the 6, and now it's going to be about whether he's able to hold on to those, or whether they're going to be able to put enough into the base now to have an appropriate response next turn.
It's how you deal with the Mind Splitter, really,
100%.
isn't it? 7 might on it.
Oh,
Rasa. Okay, I think we'll take a Rasa, please.
Oh, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it might be the best choice. We're going to sunder some people, put it into hand. Unfortunately, the other 2 Rasas on the bottom here, unable to be discarded or brought back with the last rites.
Yeah, that is a bit of a shame, I suppose. Like, because they are the cheaper, larger units you've got, and they're the kind of appropriate backup you want at this point. It is a shame they're on the bottom of the deck, but equally, at least we have one, and it's going to be cheap as chips at the moment.
Yeah, Fizz using the gold, going to play out. What are we looking at an invert timelines?
I was thinking about stack deck maybe just because we need to draw more cards at this point. Like, we're limited and getting a bit low on resources, and I think that realistically we need to do something to start replenishing the hand. And okay, we got
Unyielding Spirit, a fight or flight, and an Ezreal. It looks like Ezreal is going to be the play. Can't play it this turn though.
No, I think that was the fight or flight.
Was that the fight or flight? I mean,
he's keeping us in suspense.
Not hiding a card implies not the fight or flight for now, at least. But,
I think it was the sabotage then.
It was Unyielding Spirit, wasn't it?
Unyielding,
sabotage,
sorry, yes. Totally.
That's okay. Like, we've been doing this for as long as the players have been doing this, so also a complicated board state to work your way through. Kubakulp fighting back well, though.
Got so many resources on board. I think that's the thing at the moment. We are absolutely lush with resources, and now it's just about getting the cards in hand to be able to make the plays to bring it back. We're on 3 points to 6, but that's not that far behind in the grand scheme of things when you think about how many resources are just clearly on the board. And the Mind Splitter really, NoVeggies doesn't have a way of dealing with that. It's just so big, going in with 7 might to 4.
So we've got an acceptable losses in hand. Doesn't really do too much for us now as Kubakulp. The Mind Splitter going in alongside the pickpocket. NoVeggies at 4. Nocturne will die. Point for Kubakulp. Pickpocket gets traded. Yeah. I mean, that's why you want to chuck in the pickpocket there as well, to make sure that you are over that punch first threshold. Gonna banish the Mind Splitter, targeting the Traveling Merchant. Unyielding Spirit means the damage won't go through, but the Mind Splitter will come back, and we'll have another look at NoVeggies' hand.
Getting that effect of being able to bring it back and reactivate that effect on a Mind Splitter is overwhelmingly powerful. Being able to take a card from your opponent's hand and then know what threats are available is just one of the most powerful effects in this game, hands down. Yeah,
smart from Kubakulp as well to play around the punch first, because it was in hand alongside a Rasa and a Fizz. It must have been the Unyielding Spirit that they drew off the stack deck. So where are we going, Kuba? Let's have a think. If it were me, I'd be scouring that trash right now. I'd be like, okay, NoVeggies, what can you get back with this Fizz? If I put the punch first in there, you can then play it back out. If I put the Rasa in there, there's a risk of you drawing a last rites, conquering a battlefield, and then cracking out the Rasa as well.
I think the Fizz is the scarier point here.
Yeah,
surprisingly, Fizz is the scarier one than Rasa. And the Rasa you can play around, right? You've got ways to play around that. You've got big units, you've got your Mind Splitter down, but the Fizz just being able to bounce spells back is just too troublesome.
Yeah, here comes the Fizz for Kuba. Both the Arcane Shifts have been used for Kubakulp. Bellows Breath will be the target. We're paying to repeat
that so that we've got some extra damage going on, going for the Fizz. So that's got 2 damage on it now. 1 remaining to have an effect to remove it from the board.
Yeah, and the Traveling Merchant's also been stupefied, so that's sitting at, it was stupefied at the start of the turn, so that's sitting at 1 as well. We have 4 runes left up, and we're having a quick look through our trash.
Seeing what's available, what's been used.
It's acceptable losses, Fizz, and 1 other card that I can't quite remember right now. The Fizz could try and get back. You could get back like a stack deck or something if you're still looking, but Fizz is going to use so many of our runes.
I think that's the issue at this point. Is like we've got the runes, we've got resources on the board, but we've had to do so much to climb back up this ladder at this point that actually I'm not sure that we've got enough momentum now to just keep going. And that's been kind of the story of this back and forth, is that each player has been quite successfully managing to do what they can to manage each other's board and hands. But it's getting to the point where Kuba just can't see the line out of the sand, and we go into a straight victory for NoVeggies.
Big from NoVeggies there. I was trying to work out, there was another Bellows Breath in the trash. The Fizz into Bellows Breath, I think, would have killed off both the units on the battlefield. So,
but whether there was
whether it was
a continuation,
I think
after
at that point does make sense. It's very difficult after that point. So, obviously, congratulations to NoVeggies. Huge win for them. Taking the victory on the Sivir, one of our final 2 Sivirs remaining here in the tournament, so still playing for that best of. For Kubakulp, a little bit disappointing that they weren't able to close it out with Ezreal, but after so long, over 2 days of play, no real surprises that endurance does come into these things.
Absolutely, and we have a lot to hear, I'm sure, from our winner of that feature match, so we'll see you in a second.
Welcome, Riftbounders. I am joined by the winner of the last round of Swiss here in Bologna, NoVeggies. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Glad I got that out of the way, finally.
I mean, you were already top 8 in Houston with the Annie deck. What made you change decks?
So I felt like Annie got a little bit too slow compared to the other decks, weirdly enough, because she was super fast in set 1. But the other decks were just doing more unfair things, in my opinion. Like, Sivir making a gold is really impactful, and like the orange cards, like just sabotaging your opponent to death is pretty good. Yeah, and I felt like there was no reason to play Annie over Draven, and I didn't really want to play Draven as well, so I kind of went for the option C, technically. But I like Sivir. I like Sivir more.
I mean, when you don't want to play Draven, I mean, when you're playing Draven, you have a little chance of getting that metal card, I want to say. With Sivir, that's a lot better. There's only one other player who can threaten a tiebreak for you. How are you feeling? What would that mean for you to finally win a best-of?
It'd be pretty cool. I'm kind of sad it's Sivir, because I've never played Sivir in the game. I think she's extremely boring, but she's cool here.
Well, I mean, you can have a spell shield, you can run fast.
Yeah. I guess.
I mean, you play a pretty interesting Sivir deck, actually. You're playing a Miracle version. We have seen plenty of Aurora recently. Why have you decided to not play Aurora Sivir?
So the reason I didn't play Aurora is because I felt like, first of all, it's not my playstyle. I don't really like slow control decks. I tested it and I hate it. You don't really depend on the Aurora, but like sometimes you kind of depend on the Aurora, and I didn't really like that. I'm a combo player at the end of the day. So the Miracle package just like fit me perfect. Like it's flexible. I can be an aggro deck when I can be an aggro deck, and I can like be a slow control deck that just wears your hand down, and until I know I have a lock on the game, I can play accordingly. You know, the sabotage, again, not to rave on sabotage, but the fact that in this game at least, the hand rip is cool, but the hand information is even better.
Yeah.
It's very important.
There's so many crazy combo tricks. If you know what's coming, it's absolutely massive. But also, you know, most Miracle decks, they are either Mind or they are Fury plus Chaos. So you're running Orange, you're running Body. Why? What are you playing to compensate for not being Mind or Fury?
Obviously the unfair cards. Sabotage, of course. Punch First is a big one. And the MVP, in my opinion, is Challenge.
Okay.
Challenge has been a card that a lot of people have forgotten about this weekend. They play out their Draven, they don't hold for an axe, and you challenge their Draven, and they're like, okay, 4-4. No, it's 6. Like, oh.
How many times did you catch people off guard with a challenge?
A lot of times. I caught more people off guard by the fact that Sivir suddenly was a 6.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because she gains the buff in the middle of the chain.
All right.
So a lot of people don't account for that.
Well, very strong. So that's a reason for success. People at home, play around challenge
Play
a
around
little
challenge.
bit.
I can't play this deck anymore.
As I said earlier, there's only one more player that can also go to an extra record. Still, maybe in contention for the top cut if you have a good tiebreaker. Is there anything else you would like to say to the other Sivir players still in contention for the best of?
I hope you don't draw Aurora.
All right, maybe the luck is with them, maybe it is not with the Miracle version. You're very much less relying on drawing your good cards because you're going to see half your deck anyways. NoVeggies, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day for this interview. And we're going live back to the coverage.
Well, welcome back to Regional Qualifier here in Bologna as we are getting ready for the second feature match of our final round of Swiss. I think NoVeggies, for someone that has played that deck for so long over the last 2 days, incredibly coherent. If I played that for a single round, I think I would be gobbledygook at
I think
best.
my brain would just leak out of my ears
Yeah, it's
a
just
little
mush.
bit.
Just mush.
Yeah. But the power of sabotage and hand knowledge, clearly something very important to NoVeggies. Among other players, we've seen it used to such great effect, and that match more than any had it from both sides.
Yeah.
So we really got to see how that knowledge and that clarity guides the players.
Should we move into more Riftbound action?
Oh,
I feel like we must, you know? I think we might as well.